Welcome to Fueling Your Legacy, hosted by Samuel Knickerbocker. Each week, we expose the faulty foundational mindsets of the past and rebuild a new, stronger foundation essential in creating your legacy. We've got a lot of work to do, so let's get started. Welcome back to Fuel Your Legacy, and we're excited. This week is all about health again. It's important every time we meet to be talking about what we're going to be talking about this week and helping you get a little bit of foreshadow. This week, we're going to be talking about health and wealth and how those combine. Now, a few weeks ago, I built up this guest. It was just awesome. His name's Chad Molynuex, and I fumbled the ball really bad. He flew all the way out here from Connecticut, and we recorded, or so we thought, and about halfway through the recording stopped due to a faulty internet connection, and we weren't able to get it. Thankfully, we caught it, and we were able to interview his friend, which is awesome, and so that's who we ended up listening to last time. But this time, it's going to work. It's already recorded. I know it's going to be good. So this Friday, we're going to get to hear from him, Chad Molynuex, and understand more about health and wealth and how the busy business person, the busy businessman, can still work in health into their everyday life and not be so stressed out about it, not be thinking, oh man, I just don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to do these things. Well, what I love about Chad's message is there's two things. One, you do have time, okay? And he makes that very clear. Two, on top of that time that you have, he actually helps you make sure that time is targeted. And then he gives you some quick things to help you find more energy and just excitement during the day. When we last met, he challenged me to drink more water. And I was like, man, I've tried drinking water. I tried drinking a lot of water, and I just have never really enjoyed it. I was in the bathroom all the time. Well, I finally decided I was just going to do it. I was going to commit to drinking more water, and it worked. It worked. I actually have been drinking right around 3/4-ish of a gallon of water every day for the last 2 to 3 weeks. And it's changed my life. It's changed the energy that I have. It's helped me wake up earlier in the morning. It's giving me more energy when I'm at the gym. It's giving me more energy throughout the day. I'm going through the day. I'm very rarely getting near as tired as I was before. Before I would get about halfway through the day, maybe 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would be going for a crash. I would be thinking, man, I just don't have the energy to really do what I need to do. And so I would sluggishly press forward and keep moving, but I didn't really have the energy that I was looking for or really everything that I wanted out of that. And so with that, I had to change the way I experienced my energy. And just drinking water, if there's nothing else I learned from Chad, it's drinking more water can change your life. And then also with that, because it gives you more energy, you're actually more likely to fulfill the rest of the things you know you need to be doing, specifically exercising, making sure you're moving your body and you're getting healthy. I don't want to steal his thunder, so I'm going to leave him to talk more about that specifically in the Friday episode. And then on Wednesday, we're going to be doing a book review right around health, understanding more about how we can construct a healthy lifestyle around us, some different foods we can eat, and how we can make our health the most important, maybe different ideas about how to manage our health in a way that is conducive to us, that's more specific to us, not just some random, maybe you should try this, maybe you should try this, maybe you should try that. No, how do we make sure that all of the things are actually the same and, well, they're good for us and they're specific to us. The health plans are specific to us. And that's something that's very important to me, is making sure that my health plan is actually specific to me. So with that being said, we are excited to really experience health that we can. And for me, I've actually, as I mentioned, kind of changed the way I've been eating. I listen to a lot of different health foods, things and ideas, ways to grow. And for me, it's proven most successful for me not to be eating in the morning and do what a lot of people would consider intermittent fasting. Basically, I want my body to have the most energy in the morning. And when I eat food for myself, it does detract from my energies, because digesting is one of the most expensive energy things that your body does. on a daily basis is digesting food. It takes hours to digest food. And so that's something that I've been working on, is making sure that when I'm eating is very specific, and I'm improving my health through eating at specific times, as well as I have, as I mentioned, started drinking, and in my mind, an enormous amount of water. But why is health so important? How does wealth and health, how are they connected? So you may have heard me talk about this in the past, but I actually studied in my college career, I studied neuropsychology. And my whole purpose in studying neuropsychology was I knew that psychology was the study of behavior. And I knew that behavior is really the outward expression of what's going on inside of our body. And so I thought that if I went and studied the mind and neuropsychology, just the brain, because this is I guess, so there's behavior. And then in psychology, they pretty much unanimously agree that the reason we would behave in a certain way is because our brain is shaped a certain way, right? They'll take brain structures of a serial killer and a CEO or high-level business person, and the brain structure, the brain activity is actually very similar. It's not identical, but it's very, very similar. The same parts of the brain are small, the same parts of the brain are big, the same parts of the brain are active. And the reason for that is the idea of what it takes to really dominate in something, what it takes to be a dominant figure. And there's serial killers, there's pedophiles, there's these people. That's the dark side of this human trait. The positive side of the human trait is crazy success in business, being willing to do anything to achieve success and stopping at nothing, not hearing the word no, and just moving forward, okay? And so from a brain structure, that was fascinating to me. I wanted to go the next level. I wanted to know, okay, well, if that's the case, and we can basically identify certain attributes based on how somebody's brain structure is, I wanted to know, how does our brain develop, right? So what chemicals, what environments, eating habits, how we were raised from an abusive, non-abusive standpoint, how does all of those, the chemical situations in our brain, how does that, chemical and hormonal, I guess, how does that impact the development of the brain, which then would impact how we behave, right? So this is what I was studying in neuropsychology and where I wanted to go with it. It was kind of a toss-up between biochemistry and neuropsychology and becoming a neurosurgeon. Like, those were my three options, because I was I love this stuff. Like, I could read a whole research paper just on these topics, because it's so fascinating to me how much of an impact that stuff has on it. And what's interesting is how it's changed over the years. Because our food has changed drastically from very organic, grown, would spoil, you could say, within a few days or weeks of harvest. We're in a different economy now, and our world now chooses to have food grown all over the world and shipped in to where you want to eat it, right? So, for instance, we get a basket of fresh fruits and vegetables every Saturday, and I love it. It's $20, and I get a giant box of fresh fruits and vegetables. Now, the reason I say fresh, in kind of scare quotes, is because we have mangoes from Mexico. We've got oranges from Florida. We've got romaine from another place. We've got tomatoes from another place, right? All this fruits and vegetables, they've traveled thousands, if not tens of thousands of miles to show up in my kitchen. And for that to be possible, they have to pick it early in a lot of cases. They have to use chemicals to quicken the ripening phase. They use, you may have seen on oranges, this is the funniest thing to me. On oranges, sometimes you'll see where there's like a line where it's like, oh, it's orange, and then it's not as orange, it's maybe a little green. Why is that? Well, they actually spray chemicals on your fruits to ripen the skin so it looks ripe, even though the insides may or may not be ripe. And that, anyways, these are real things that we have in our life that happen, right? Apples, they'll put a waxy film protective on the apples so that they will last longer during transport. They'll stay fresher, looking nice. Even if they're like rotting on the inside, the outside will still look almost perfect just because of the chemicals in our environment. So that was one of the things that I was studying. How about pesticides, the chemicals, things on our food, all these things, how does that impact our brain structure? And then ultimately, how does that impact our behavior? What I found was it had a big impact on it, but not as big. Okay, keep this in mind. Well, how do I say this? I wouldn't say it was not as big, but by order of operation, I'm going to say it was not as big. Not as big as how your financial situation, your financial health in your life, your family's financial health, how much that had an impact. That has a bigger impact because, and we all know this, if you went down to the grocery store and you had to choose between an organic piece of fruit or vegetable or just a regular stock, non-organic, complete GMO, all of that, which one costs more? The organic fruit and vegetables, sometimes it's double the cost. Not always, but sometimes it's double the cost to eat healthier than to eat just the regular food. Then if you think of, okay, well, what's the cost of not even getting fruits and vegetables and just going straight for the boxed food, right? You can get a lot of food from a box that's not fresh. It's completely, I would say it's completely fake, or at least created in a factory rather than grown. I mean, at least the non-organic vegetables and stuff, they actually were still grown on an actual plant, where a lot of stuff you're going to get in the box, it's not grown at all. And so that's something that I recognized was more important, was the actual food. What we're able to do for our health is more impacted by our finances. And it's interesting because your health impacts your ability to create money, and your money impacts your ability to have better health in a lot of cases. Okay. Last week, we talked all about the mind, and we talked all about masterminds and all about how you can create a vision of what you want in the future and then have that come to pass. That's what we focused on last week. This week, we're going to talk about the combination between health and wealth. All are important. Wealth is what I focus on. Health is what Chad primarily focused on. But we both recognize that they have to come together. And so his branding is actually health and wealth. Who you're going to hear from on Friday, his branding is actually health and wealth. And it's important to recognize that your financial situation impacts your health in a big way, because it creates stress hormones, it creates fear hormones, it creates all this stuff. And then those hormones put you into a state of wanting a quick, unhealthy fix in a lot of cases, which then compounds not feeling good because your hormone balance is all screwed up, and it just is a repetitive situation. And so when you're able to have confidence in your financial situation and know that you can actually provide well for your family, that actually changes how you view everything from a health perspective. Once you master your health, it compounds and gives you more wealth. And it's this cyclical thing that's going to add benefit to you in the long run over a large period of time. Okay. It also is going to have a great immediate impact, right? I started drinking more water consecutively every day about, like I said, 2 to 3 weeks ago. And it did not take long for my energy to spike and just to shoot up. And I didn't believe that at first. When Chad told me, I was like, I don't believe that. No, it's real. And it happened to me. I can just say it happened to me. I believe it will happen for you. That if you're willing to just do nothing else other than increase your water intake, then you're going to have a massive difference in the creation of energy in your life, which then helps you go and fulfill and have better wealth and health, because now I have extra energy to spend more time in the gym. I have energy to be with my family. I have energy to get out and do these things that are important to me and my family. So I'm excited for Wednesday. I know that you're going to get even more value when we do the book review. And then also on Friday, you're going to get just this. It's so amazing, the things that he knows and the things that he's studied. And I honestly believe that you'll be surprised when you find out how old he is. You're going to be absolutely surprised, because his knowledge and his professionalism in his career is way beyond his years. And he's had a lot of experience. He's put in a lot of effort to get to where he is. And he is a very successful individual in his company that he's created. And I know that as you hear from him, you're going to want to jump on board there. So we've got some nice offers there inside of the episode as well. But just keep in mind and play with it in your mind over the next 2 or 3 days. How does my health impact my wealth, and how does my wealth impact my health, right? And just one other quick example of this is when it comes to these mental diseases, we'll call them depression, anxiety, suicide, eating disorders, all of these things. A lot of the time, if we had the proper amount of money in our life, the financial foundation, then you'd actually be able to go and get and pay for the proper treatments for these things, which would then be a cyclical thing. But a lot of times people don't have the money. And so then they keep suffering. And then in a lot of cases, and this is not, again, not a flippant reference, but in a lot of cases, you'll actually find a lot of these people end up on the streets homeless because they just never learned how to cope in their health. And so they were not financially independent. And it was just that downward cycle, where they ended up in just a sad situation. And so how can you help them? How can we really go out and impact those around us and make sure that health is one of our number one priorities? The last thing you want to do is be 65 years old, 70 years old, have all the money in the world, millions and millions and millions of dollars, and get sick and die because you didn't take care of your health over a long period of time. So these are some things that I think about on a daily basis. The things that I'm talking to my clients about regularly. How's your health? How's your wealth? And let's make them work together, because it's not all one thing. It's definitely something that has to be taken and tackled together at the same time. So excited to share more with you on Wednesday and on Friday. And again, on May 11th, we're actually going to be doing, Travis Brady and I, and one of my coaches who's helped me get to where I am, we're going to be doing a next generation legacy wealth workshop and really diving deep into the mindsets, the habits, and behaviors that are essential for you to actually have the legacy that you want and create the legacy you want in your faith, your family, your fitness, and your finance. All four are important, but how do you create a legacy that's well-rounded and going to last multiple generations? And that's what we're going to be going into there. There is a promo code on my website. If you'd like to get it a little bit cheaper than the price, then reach out to me and I'll make sure that you get the promo code and you get that discount, because it's pretty significant. If you reached out to me and say, hey, you heard this from from the podcast, I'd love to give you that discount and make sure that those who are actively participating are being rewarded for their participation. So hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you next time on Fuel Your Legacy. Thanks for joining us today. If what you heard resonated with you, please like, comment, and share on social media. Tag me so I can give you a shout out on the next episode. And thanks to all those who have left a review. It helps spread the message of what it really takes to build a legacy that lasts. Catch you next time on Fueling Your Legacy.